Bicycle tyres are pretty expensive these days, aren't they? I mean, it's cheaper to put new tyres on my car than my bicycle. But I know from experience that those top-end expensive tyres are often worth the price over cheaper entry-level tyres if you value performance. And given how important a tyre is to the way a bike rides, the price is often worth paying. But what if you want value for money and performance? Can you have your cake and eat it? Well, maybe you can with the brand new tyres from American Classic. These retail for between $30 and $35, which is much cheaper than many top-end tyres. But what are they all about? What they like to ride? Well, in this video, we'll go through their full range in detail, and I'll give my ride impressions of a road and gravel tyre from the range over the last few weeks of riding here in the Cotswolds. So, let's dive in. Before we dive into the tyres in detail, I'm sure many of you watching will remember American Classic for its wide range of wheels and other products, but sadly the business closed shop a few years ago. It's back now under new ownership with its own factory in Taiwan and focused for the time being solely on tyres. And what is launched is a massive range, from commuting tyres, slick road tyres to gravel tyres, something for everybody. Looking at tyres in more detail, the Timekeeper is a speed-focused race slick tyre and comes in 25 and 28mm widths and different sidewall colours. There's a Torchbearer road tyre, which we'll focus on later in the video, and the Lamp Lighter is a commuting and e-bike tyre. And then to the wide range of gravel tyres, with a choice of sizes including 700 by 40 and 50 and 650B by 47. The Kimberlite is a fast-rolling all-road tyre similar in shape and design to the WTB Byway, smooth in the middle and ridged on the shoulders. The Aggregate steps up the tread pattern with low-profile hexagonal blocks designed for increasingly off-road focused riding, but still fast on the road. The Udon increases the block size for more traction while maintaining that focus on rolling speed. Then, for more serious off-road riding, the Wentworth and Krumbien round out the range. The Wentworth has a more open tread pattern to clear mud and other slippery conditions, while the Krumbien is the most aggressive tyre in the range with deep blocks and open space to clear mud. And why are the tyres so cheap? Well, partly down to the fact the company owns its own factory in Taiwan, but also because it's selling direct via its own shop and through Amazon. They're primarily only available in the US, but watching here in the UK, you can buy them, but import duties do apply. Now, that's a quite impressive range of tyres and far too many tyres for me to test in one video. So instead, I picked two tyres from the range to focus on over the last few weeks, a road tyre and a gravel tyre. And we'll start with a gravel tyre. This is a Krumbien, which is the most extreme gravel tyre in their range. And the reason I picked it is for the last month or so here in the UK, we've had quite a lot of rain and sunny weather. So a real mix of conditions from wet and slippery to dry and dusty. And this tyre has been a really good choice for those conditions. Now, as you might know if you watch other videos on my channel, I like to ride gravel bikes on single track trails in the woods with roots and rocks, more mountain bikey trails, but more tame mountain bike trails. And these tyres have given me the grip, the traction, the control, and the confidence to really push the bike hard through the corners and have a lot of fun with no downfalls at all. The tyre has a very aggressive tread pattern with very deep blocks for a gravel tyre, and that gives you lots of traction and braking control in muddy conditions when it's slippery. And you've got these large rectangular blocks on the shoulder, and they're well spaced, and they give you lots of bite in the corners. When you lean the bike over, you really push the bike into the corners at high speed, and the tyre does grip very well. And when it does lose traction, the slide is fairly controllable and predictable. The tread pattern along the middle, the centre of the tyre, has a directional sort of triangular shape, and they're tightly packed as well, and that gives you surprisingly good rolling speed on a road or hard packed gravel. Got a nice fairly consistent centre line, so not slow or draggy on the road when you're linking up all the woods and gravel sections as we have to do here in the UK. So overall, a good tyre that gives you plenty of grip and traction in slippery conditions, but it's still a fast rolling tyre on hard pack and dry gravel and road as well. So it's been a really good tyre. There are faster tyres in the range, as you saw from the range preview earlier, but offering a wide range of tyres to suit different conditions is a really smart move and means you can pick the tyre to suit your requirements. For me, As we are approaching autumn and winter here in the UK with increasingly wetter trails, this looks like a really good option to see me through to next year when the spring finally returns with dry trails, hopefully. So a really good tyre. The tyres are also showing good durability, good wear life as well so far, but I need to rack up many more miles before I can really pass verdict on their long-term durability. But so far they look all good. The sidewalls are still in good condition despite running very low pressures and running them into rocks and roots at high speed. I'm running them tubeless, as you would expect for a gravel setup, which I consider to be essential. And tubeless installation on these Roval Terra wheels was a breeze, a normal track pump, and it went up first time. The 580 gram weight of these means they're not the lightest in their class, and the weight winners might look elsewhere. But for me, when I'm riding gravel over rocks and roots in the middle of nowhere, I'll take durability, traction, grip, and all the other good factors of these tyres over weight personally, but you might feel differently. So a good fit and forget tyre that haven't given me any issues at all really, so I've been very happy with the tyres so far. So a good choice if you're in the market for an aggressive, loose condition trail tyre. And then for road riding, I'll be using the Torchbearer on my Giant TCR Advanced Custom for the last few weeks. And I chose this over the lighter weight Racer Timekeeper because it uses the same rubber compound and the same construction, but adds a bead to bead puncture protection layer, so a bit more weight, but that extra durability makes it a really good fit and forget tyre for training, sporties, just general day in, day out riding, where you're not worried about the few grams you save from that lighter weight top end tyre. And in my experience, it's been a really good tyre. The good times with the tyres start straight from the box. Setting them up tubeless was a breeze on the DT Swiss wheels. Granted, a tyre lever was needed, but apart from that, they went up with a normal track pump, and air retention over several weeks I've been riding them has been excellent. So that's a good start, and since then I've been nothing but impressed with the performance of the tyres. The tyre comes in 25, 28 and 32mm widths, and I went for the 32 because the Giant TCR has clearance for a 32 tyre. But on these rims, which have a 20mm internal rim width, they only measure 29, which is a bit of a shame. You're losing a bit of width there, so a wider rim would benefit these tyres. But apart from that, they have a nice profile on the rims, and the riding performance has been very good over the last few weeks. So they feel good on the road, they feel fast, they feel grippy in the corners, you can really push them hard into the corners, and plenty of traction when you really need it. And durability so far, although several weeks is not enough for long-term durability requirements, is good. No cuts to the tyre, so no issues there. The tyres feel nice and grippy at the low pressures. I run them about 60, 65 PSI for my rider weight. Nice supportive sidewall. No feel that the tyre is squirming or collapsing under my weight in certain conditions. So nice support there, and just a really good feeling tyre. They're perhaps not as silky supple as some really expensive high-end tyres, but they're not that bad, and they don't feel wooden or hard or harsh at all. They do feel quick, perhaps not as fast as the Pirelli and the Michelin or Goodyear and some of the other really good tyres I've been testing over the last few months. But I'd love to see an independent rolling resistance test. Hopefully the website Bicycle Rolling Resistance can do a test of these tyres and see how they do stack up. I don't have data to really quantify how to compare. Getting data from power meters and speed sensors is tricky to really give you a clear picture of how your tyres rank compared to other tyres. So some independent lab testing would be fantastic to see. But in my experience, they do feel fast, they don't feel slow, and seemingly no downsides for the very low price tag they command over the more expensive tyres you can buy in this sector. The only downside is the weight. At 415 grams for a 32mm tyre, they are heavy. You're looking at about 300 to 320 for a comparable tyre from Hutchinson or Continental. So quite a weight penalty, but you do pay a lot less for your tyres than those other tyres, which might help offset the weight if you're weight weaning. So there we are then, a first look and first ride of the brand new American Classic range of tyres, focusing on one gravel tyre and one road tyre. And I'm really impressed. The price is good, the performance is good, the tubeless installation was very good, and the durability of the tyres has been very good over the last few weeks. and I'll keep riding them to see how they progress in the long term. It's refreshing for a company to launch a range of products that aren't super expensive, but also deliver really good performance. And while the performance isn't right at top end in terms of ride quality and weight, they are very good for the price. So definitely worth checking out if you're in the market for some new tyres for your road or gravel bike this year. Anyway, that's all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.